Hey everyone, Brando here.
And Mike.
And we host the Game Addicts Podcast,
a show about modern and retro video games
that we play and collect.
Now, here's some vital information for you.
Our podcast is found on podcast services around the globe, such as iTunes,
Podbean,
Stitcher Radio,
and YouTube.
Check us out every Thursday for a new episode.
But wait, there's more.
If you pledge to the Journey to Comics Network Patreon, you get early access to the audio version of the show up to a week early.
So what are you waiting for?
It's time to level up and check out the Game Addicts Podcast today. The following is a Journey to Comics Network production.
Good evening, and welcome to the second episode of Brews with Dudes. I'm your host, Nick Maxon, and I got a couple dudes here with me. First of all, we've got Dr. Dongo back. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Great. Nice Slipknot shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Then we've got Mr. Gimme Head Till I'm Dead, Anthony Voight.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'd be doing better if I was living out the fantasy that shirt insinuates.
It's a lifestyle.
That was almost unbearable. Austin Hill, our third guest, second guest. Is Dongo a guest anymore, or is he just part of the team? He might just be part of the team. But Austin, how are you doing tonight?
Doing fantastic.
Good. So let's just jump right into it.
Yeah.
We've already, I wouldn't say we're slamming through the beer. We just took our first couple sips of the beer that Anthony brought.
I'm gonna like this.
Would you like to give us a quick rundown of what you brought, Anthony?
I brought Liftoff, West Coast style IPA from Daredevil Brewing Company. 7.2 alcohol.
That's an Indiana brew.
I love the way it smells.
It's aggressively fun.
I would agree with that assessment.
It says it right there on the can.
I know. That's why. Yeah. We've got a guy. What has he got there? It looks like a early 1900s helicopter. Maybe it's a helicopter, not a plane.
Yeah. Maybe some satanic straps.
I don't. He definitely harnessed the power of something otherworldly.
It's definitely a steampunk Da Vinci flying device strapped to his back.
There we go. I would agree with that.
That tastes good.
He has an amazing
you look excited,
beard.
Dongo.
Yeah,
give us your first impression.
Well, one, it smells great. I'm tasting some good in this.
It's hoppy.
Yeah.
It's real hoppy.
This is what I'm talking about when I say it hits my mouth.
It's very forward with the citra hop flavor when it hits your mouth.
But it's not overly hoppy.
Right.
It's pretty smooth.
It doesn't. There's no bad aftertaste.
No, it's not really bitter.
It's especially tasty out of this Maxon's and Me pint glass.
No, I'm enjoying mine out of a Metal at Market Square 2017 glass.
I as well. That.
By the time this particular episode is aired, we'll probably be through night 2. So I'm just going to assume that it was a great night. I'm also going to assume that most of us aren't going to have remembered some of it. But we'll still have, night 3 with Yesterday's Chips and Boner Jovi. November 18th. That'll be fun. And maybe by then we'll have one of those tasty new Maxons and Me brews. We just did a pumpkin amber ale today. So I'm excited to see how that comes out. Austin, you got something sarcastic you want to say?
I like pumpkins.
You like to carve little holes in the pumpkin. And
Very little holes.
Let me really put the emphasis on that little hole.
Not very deep either. Just scratch the surface.
Just through the rind, and I'm good.
Didn't take long to get to the dick jokes. I think last week we just got a couple minutes further.
Yeah.
I could definitely put down a 6-pack of this, even though it came in a 4-pack.
Yeah. Well, see, just basic math at that point. You just get a couple. You get like 3, and then just go for the 2 6-packs instead of the 1.
There you go.
Yeah, it's easily drinkable. It's Imperial. Is that what it said? Did I misread? No, it's not.
It's a West Coast style IPA.
It doesn't say the ABV. There it is, 7.2. I'm digging it. It's got a good color. It's not, it's very clear. It's not hazy. It's got a goldish hue.
I've actually had this several times before, and I always enjoy it.
I think I have had it before, too, but it's...
I have never had it.
It's real good.
Me either. I could get down on this.
Oh, yeah.
I've noticed it's popped up in more liquor stores and convenience stores lately, too, so it's a little bit easier to find now.
What's, so, Austin, this is your first time on. It's only the second one, but still your first time on. What kind of beer would you say is your go-to? What is your favorite kind of beer?
My go-to is definitely an IPA for the base, but I normally try to go for more of a light fruit hue IPA that's really smooth on the back and low carbonation.
Did you get one of those pineapple cosmic jacuzzis a couple weeks ago when we went to, what is it? Bedrock? Did you pick up that one? I know that, who were we with? I don't remember, but we both picked up the jacuzzi one. I really like that.
Yeah, that one was very tasty.
I like juicy. That's my favorite way to describe an IPA. It's juicy. I'm going to go on about that.
Yeah, we did that last episode.
It's
nice
so
and
juicy.
wet.
Nice and
Yeah, a nice, wet,
Not dry.
juicy IPA.
Wet,
Something that you can really
juicy.
sink your tongue into.
I just let that beer sit in my mouth a little longer than usual at Austin's suggestion.
Mm.
So let's see. This was really, really tasty. Dongo, what did you bring today?
I brought Founders Redunculous, I believe is what it's called. I literally just picked it off based off the name and based off of Founders does all day, right?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and so I enjoyed all day. So I trust the brewery.
I do too. I'm a big fan of Founders.
So we're gonna see what that tastes like.
Nick's been
Yeah, it'd be nice. You guys need to catch up.
Day.
I've had all day experiences with all day, and I've also had 15-minute encounters with all day.
Yeah, I remember that one.
It hurt. You got there just in time, I think,
Yes.
for the festivities of us trying to.
He actually filmed us do that.
We tried to see who could drink the most it was 5. Who could drink
Actually,
5 all days?
I supplied the all day.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
Anyway, I wouldn't say that I won, but we decided to shotgun a couple of them, and I succeeded, but I could only hold it down for about 45 seconds to a minute before
Just
I started
long
puking
enough
it
for
up.
someone to say one more beer.
And then I puked
You've
it
got
up.
one more beer.
It was magical.
Yeah, it splashed onto my leg. It was great.
It was nasty. That's not the first time I puked on shoes. So.
And then my dog tried to eat it.
Yeah.
Did it taste just as good coming back up?
No. I did, after cleaning myself up, come back out for one more beer, though, to finish it off. So
You got to.
I'm a
He's
trooper. Wow. Jinx, you owe me a beer. There we go.
Speaking
how
of
it works.
beer,
Okay, so what should we jump into next? I think, let's go for the Shafley. Let's go for the pumpkin.
Shafley?
Let's go for the pumpkin next, since the next one's going to be ridiculous.
All right, good. Let Austin do this work.
Clank away. Clank away.
that's probably my dog snorting in the mic.
I want to get Isis on for a show. The dog,
The dog.
not the band or the, Islamic terrorist group. Do they even...
They
Are they
go by
Islamic?
ISIL.
All right, we're not going to get into that.
But all the fucking super conservative and everybody else in the world calls them ISIS.
Islamic radical terrorism.
Yes. That.
So, Anthony,
Yes.
what's your favorite kind of beer?
My favorite beer, and I'm not ashamed to say, is Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
It's my go-to. I drink it all day, every day.
Ooh. I do like PBR quite a bit. We decided that we were going to have a
shitty beer off.
shitty beer off and decide which was better, Hands or Pabst.
Well, Pabst is definitely better.
Oh,
Hey, that is.
yeah.
We don't even need to. Maybe that's just something we bring up every show.
Do they even do they make Strohs anymore, or is that
Yes.
like long gone?
Yes, they do.
Because that is like every old person, like back in the day, my dad, all my old friends and stuff. They're like 60 plus. That was their beer. That was the first beer I ever drank was Strohs.
Wow.
I think I was like probably 7 or 8, and my grandma was taking a shower and left her beer out, and it was Strohs, and got me a good taste of it then. Definitely hooked. Have not had one for about 20 years.
I had somebody bring. It was just last year because I'd never seen it before. So when someone brought it in, I'm like, "How much was this?" And they were like, $11. I'm like, "Oh my god, this is a new contender in the race." So I think Hams is the cheapest that I've seen.
Oh yeah,
At like $12 for a 30-pack.
that Hams isn't bad once you've downed a 6-pack of
Absolutely.
like a good IPA.
You got it.
And I do like IPAs. Don't get me wrong, but I mean,
You can't drink IPAs all night without.
no, I don't want to spend $12 a day on a 6-pack. I'd
I
rather
like to drink beer.
rather
So,
spend $6 on a 6-pack of 16 ounces,
right.
and it still tastes good. Plus, if you're at a bar,
Oh, absolutely.
we're
It gets
talking
expensive.
$2 to $4.50.
Or down at the Vault, which is a place here in Lafayette that we go to a lot. They sometimes, with those IPAs, you get a big schooner of it, and you're spending
32 ounce.
$8 or $9.
Are those 32 ounces?
I actually thought that their prices are pretty good for the.
I guess I'm always shooting for the biggest one. I'm always getting a 32 ounce of Zombie Dust or something.
Yeah,
which just
or the
costs
Sweetwater 420.
right.
They have that. That's the one they've had the longest now. They've had it.
Yeah.
That's a good beer.
Yeah, I love that beer.
Speaking of good beer, we're about to jump into Schlafly's, whatever.
This is noticeably darker.
A pumpkin ale special release by Schlafly. They're from St. Louis.
Is this our basic bitch beer of the
This
night?
is
'Cause it's
the.
pumpkin.
You could call it the basic bit because it's a
Did
pumpkin
you just
beer.
call me pumpkin?
But
Hey,
I
pumpkin.
think that everyone's going to enjoy the beer quite a bit. So
Bottled with love on.
Is that cinnamon I smell?
I don't know. Put it in your mouth.
It's either cinnamon or like apple.
It's pumpkin spice.
Just as
the
good as I
season.
remember it.
Smells good.
So it's a dark,
Ooh, that's a
Very
lot of flavor.
dark red.
It's really smooth. Really smooth.
Yeah, it's smooth. I wasn't expecting it though. That's
It pumpkin spices you right in the mouth.
that. yeah, yeah. That
Basic
is
bitches you right in the mouth.
that is a load of pumpkin right in your mouth.
It is, but it's a good pumpkin.
It's a good load.
Not bad.
It's a full load too. It's not one of those. dinky
You want to
ones.
swish it around in your mouth.
Yeah, I could drink 1 or 2 of these, and
Yeah, this you can definitely gurgle this. And blow
I don't
some
think I
bubbles.
could finish a 6-pack of this. It's good, but
No,
You know,
I think
too
it's
much of a good thing.
8%.
too much of a good thing.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I think last year I made a 6-pack last a month.
This would probably be a
Just-
good beer to start off with,
Yep.
and then move on to PBR.
I could see myself. I could see myself drinking a case of this and having pumpkin vomit for the remainder of the night and the next morning.
But it might taste good coming back up.
I don't know about that.
Well, if it comes out my nose, I know I'm going to be smelling something good.
Yeah.
It has, and I can't put my finger on it, but it's not just pumpkin; it's something else.
We just made a pumpkin beer today.
Did you rinse these glasses out?
Yeah.
Good man.
Of course he rinsed them out. He's not a barbarian. What do you think, Isis? You know what? I'm going to agree with you. I tend to think the other way, but you make a good point. Thanks, Isis, for opening my eyes a little bit more.
That's a good girl. Remind us to take a good smell of our beer before we just indulge.
What do you think, Dongo?
I enjoy it. It wouldn't be something I would go to, but I enjoy it.
You know, you're right,
For
Dongo.
the
There is a hint of apple on that scent.
Yeah, it's something. It's
I thought it
definitely a
was-
little fruitier than pumpkin.
It's fruitier, not quite as gourdy.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. What is your favorite medium to drink from? Like glass, like for let's just go for regular beer right now, like Budweiser, Hams,
Can.
PBR, can, bottle, draft.
Can.
I'd rather drink out of a bottle.
I as
For
well.
Paps, I would.
For Paps, for sure.
I guess
Unless it's a 16 ouncer that they're selling at the bar for $2, then
If
I'm
it's
going for the
Pabst,
can.
I gotta go can. Or if I go with my boyhood beer, which I grew up on since age 9, Miller Lite out of a bottle.
It's Miller.
Budweiser out of a bottle.
Miller Lite.
I'm a Hams out of a can guy. Hams out of a can or PBR out of a can.
You got a hammy cam.
You got it. That's how I like it. So we got a consensus of you're not sure. This is one of my favorite seasonal beers. I don't necessarily know if they don't make it year round. It does say special release, which makes me think it is a fall thing. But I do make sure every year I go and get at least a 6-pack or 2. I really, really dig it.
Yeah, this is kind of like Dog and Suds for me. I go there like once a year.
Oh, not me and Nick.
We have
not Nick and Nick.
We've been behaving ourselves this year.
Yeah.
I think mostly because of construction. But yeah, we used to have. It wasn't a contest; it was like a friendly contest
Yeah,
to
it
see
was
who
just
could
like-
go the most times a couple years ago, and we both busted 50.
Hey,
Like just
You did. I didn't.
a contest.
We should have
contest.
we should have a foot-long contest party.
wow. When you word it like that, who
Coney.
can resist?
Coney sauce.
I think the last time we actually did that, I pretty much conceded because you said I've gone like 60 something times at least, and I'm like I broke 30.
I think-
I was like, there's no way. So he's like, Nick goes, well, there's only one way to settle this. Let's see who can eat the most Coney dogs.
And then Dongo won.
Yeah, I whooped you. Yeah, and while a show was going on, while a band was playing.
We were downstairs watching bands play with the big white containers full of dogs, just eating Coney dogs.
You gave in at 4, and I was on my 5th,
Yeah.
and then I ate a 6th just to rub it in.
Well, see, I do that thing
I
where
was
at the
miserable.
shows I'm, really fucking messed up, and I'm not usually thinking about eating. I'm thinking about what's the next thing I'm going to put in my face, whether it be a beer or,
Coney dog.
a Coney dog.
A beer or a wiener or both.
Or both.
I wonder if hot dogs are even the politically correct term anymore, because Oscar Mayer doesn't make hot dogs anymore. They make wieners.
That's what I mean. Did we look into this?
We didn't look further into
I was gonna say,
if hot dog is
You
just.
mentioned that you noticed that, but what if it's always been like that and we just never paid attention?
This is not some Berenstain Bear situation. It's just, I think they're trying to, trying to change the market. They're not hot dogs.
I think I'd like to go with wiener.
I bet you would.
If I may, it's just it sounds more fun.
Yeah,
What's for dinner?
wieners.
I'm about it.
Isis is getting like so much of my arm right
She's
now.
loving on you, man.
She is loving the shit
Isis
out of
is
me.
my
Getting a little
favorite
familiar
dog
with
in
She
the
is
whole
loving
world.
the shit out of my
She's
arm.
so sweet.
Well,
Can't
dogs
get away from this tongue.
dogs
Goddamn.
do eat their own shit, and she happens to be licking that Slipknot shirt quite a bit. So
No, she's doing it to get the taste of shit out of her mouth.
Oh, my arm is drenched.
Why don't you drench your throat a little bit with that Schlafly
right.
pumpkin beer?
yeah,
Next on the docket,
Next.
I believe.
I believe
What do you-
it's some brown sugar.
I think we should jump back to the IPA, because I wanna say that the brown sugar and this one are more closely related. My
Yeah.
palate needs to relax before another one.
I concur.
I saw.
I'm gonna get some pretzels in here.
Need some pretzels.
peanuts.
I got some peanuts.
You need some peanuts to go with that wiener.
Well, that's quite enough. How about someone hop up and go clean out some glasses?
Anthony, you've been the star of some comics lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to actually remove a few of them, hide them from my timeline because they were getting a little too risque.
They've been pretty crazy lately.
Yeah, a little racy, little. I do have family and
Too much unicorn jizz and frog balls.
Yeah. Every now and then there's people that I work with that I'm sure peruse my page, and I like to come off as somewhat professional while I'm at work.
Explain what the comics are about.
I will not.
This is a safe place, Anthony.
They are.
This is a safe place. Shout out.
They are definitely fantasy oriented. There's no truth to anything that has been portrayed in the comics whatsoever.
The only truth there is how the author and illustrator has captured our personalities.
It's odd
It's so weird how well he's captured
that the very few times we've spent.
Nick.
I mean, I know you guys have probably spent a little bit more time with him than I have, but
what's hilarious is like he doesn't know any of us.
yeah. But he pretty much hit
He's
it right
just
on the
big
head.
fans of us. Apparently.
Shout out Chris Charles.
Oh yeah, get that shit.
Ooh, that's dark.
Now, what one is this?
This is Ridiculous.
Oh, this is yours.
Let me see that bottle real quick. Thank you, sir. Yeah, this is Ridiculous by Founders. It's an Imperial Red Indian Pale Ale. It is 9.5% alcohol
Ooh.
by volume. 90 IBUs. I didn't check this stuff before I bought it. I saw the name.
You just grabbed it.
I saw the name and I grabbed it because I was pressed for time.
Didn't even get it cold.
Nope, didn't even get it cold. It's cold
But
now.
it is cold.
Or at least the bottle feels cold.
Yeah, it's pretty cold now.
Let's read this.
It
This
is chilled.
bold,
Chilled.
9.5% Imperial Red IPA pours a pleasing burnt amber color. Caramel.
I brought in a glass of water with me.
There's the caramel caramel
I
debate,
think
but
I might
what
have
about
left it in
caramel?
the car.
And roasted barley introduce a subtle sweetness, but the hops are the true headliner in this big IPA. The spicy, piney, and tropical complexities of Chinook, Mosaic, and Simcoe hops hit you right away with their dank aroma, and they stick around. It's not just ridiculous; it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're talking this up quite a bit. Let's check this out.
Let me swish. Swish. Oh, it's got a kind of
That's got a very heavy scent.
Heavy, definitely
chocolatey
heavy.
scent.
It's red. It smells and it tastes red.
I don't think I'm
It is
gonna
an,
like this.
it is an
I don't think
imperial
you are
red.
either.
Yeah.
So-
Can I make a
definitely got
a prediction? Dr. Dongo is not going to like
It's
this
definitely
beer.
got a bitter aftertaste.
The smell is not
That
hitting
excites me.
right.
I love a good bitter beer.
It's very dank.
It's not bad.
I've smelled a beer like this before. I can't remember what it was, but
That is actually smoother than what I'd
Luckily-
expect out of an imperial red IPA.
luckily the last time I smelled this,
It's pretty
I was
heavy,
really
though.
already pretty fucked up,
90
and I can
IBUs.
handle it.
Oh man, fucking ISIS. I got a whiff of it.
Oh, ISIS.
ISIS just dropped a terror bomb.
Doggy fart.
I'm going in, guys. Going in.
This
It's
is
a little much for me, I think.
Yeah,
I got to say, this is actually smoother than what I expected out of an imperial red.
Yeah, it's really
Absolutely.
smooth. I don't like the taste. I would have to already be pretty far gone to
Lapsapadoy.
appreciate it.
not appreciate it, but handle it.
This actually falls back
not
into
bad.
my earlier years when I was really getting into craft beers, because I really went heavy into the bitter, hoppy beers. Like the stronger and bitter and hoppier it was, the more I drank it.
This is very, very bitter.
And this is right up my nostalgia alley right here. This is really good.
So when would you say you started drinking craft beer or beer that wasn't the big commercially brewed ones?
I got to say, I really started getting into the craft beer and not commercial, more of the
Beer made
smaller-
with love.
Yeah, the lovely beer that's made by a small brewery. I don't know. Say about 6-7 years ago, I've been getting into them. And I started off with Peoples to be my first like small brewery beer, and I just started going through what they had back then. And I remember when I was first getting into it, like most of the IPAs and stuff that I really enjoyed, it was very, very flowery and very forward with this, hoppy, just the flowery side of the hoppy taste, and I didn't start really tasting the underlying flavors and the bitterness of it until I started to, train my palate into it. But when I first was taking it in, I got the hoppy, and then I'd get a little bit of the fruit sense that really did it for me.
People's for the longest time to me had a lot of what I considered the same styles, but I feel like lately in the past year or so, they put out a lot of different kind of styles that I really like.
I need to try these things because unpopular opinion, I'm not a fan of People's.
I generally wasn't either.
Ooh, it depends on what you're drinking, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of, like, let's say Mr. Brown.
Me neither.
Farmer's Daughter, I think is an
Farmer's
excellent
Daughter is the
excellent.
closest that I can get to liking it.
I've got to say it's maybe 4 or 5 beers that I would recommend that you would enjoy from People's, aside from their normal Mr. Brown, Mound Builder.
Mound Builder's, it's decent. But
Hop Killa's a good one.
Hop Killa.
I like the Boiler Gold. They just came out with a beer for Purdue University.
Actually, that is a Purdue University brewed beer called Boiler Gold.
People's helped with it, or they brewed it at People's. People's has something to do with it.
They brewed it at People's, but it is a
Either
Purdue
way,
University
that's really cool that
backed
they're doing that at Purdue.
only.
Apparently, they've had a relationship for a while now.
That's really neat
where they work on
that
hops together.
I'm not a fan of Ridiculous.
I'm not going to give it.
I'm not a fan either.
This is not my favorite that we've done today. I don't think I would buy it again. I would accept it. If someone offered me this or a shitty beer, I would probably accept this.
Unless it was Pabst.
I'm a big fan of Pabst, but
I can get Pabst anytime, but if somebody offers me this saying, here is a good beer for you.
Because this was probably
I'm going to go ahead and accept
$3 beer, $2 or $3 beer. So it's good enough to drink again. I'm probably not going to buy it.
Yeah, no. I won't.
Also, if I may, this was bottled in May. So I don't know what kind of I don't know what that will play into it.
It is. This actually has most Imperials have a decent shelf life. So
that's why I'm saying I don't really know how much of an effect it'll play. I can just say definitively that it was brewed 5 months ago. So
well, it was bottled on 5/30 of 17, so it's not quite 5 months.
Which I think for most beers, that's pretty long. You don't really want shit to sit around that long.
No.
But
so, I'm gonna give the thumbs down, Dr. Dongo.
I agree.
You didn't do very good.
Next time,
I didn't do very good.
Next time, don't be late and pick a good beer.
Right.
Well, the thing is, I'm very inexperienced in terms of this.
I want to give you the credit. I will give you the credit that you picked a very
reputable company.
You picked a great company, a great brewery, and you picked something that I don't know why you picked this. I would not have guessed that you would pick this.
See,
it's such a strong beer, and I know you don't like that.
I was at the liquor store, and I was trying to. At first, I was looking for something that I would want to try. So I was looking at the 3 Floyd stuff that I hadn't tried, but I was like, no, I want to pick something that nobody there's gotten. So
never had it.
Yeah. So I figured, okay, if I pick something 3 Floyd, more than likely you guys have had it.
That was the goal. I believe that's what we've said to everyone. If you're going to bring a beer, bring something you think no one's tried yet, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to drink new beer.
Yes.
Well, next time I'm bringing Strohs.
Hey, Dongo, let me shoot you a suggestion while picking out beer, since you were newer to it.
This is
for like next week when you're prepping, go ahead and start going out like tonight if you have time, or tomorrow, to go ahead and give your time to shop around in beers and read the labels and see what they have to say.
That's what I was trying to do as well. I just didn't. I saw Founders, and I'm like, okay, I can get behind that for sure.
I already have a beer for next week.
Oh.
Is it the one you told me you were going to bring this week?
No, it is not.
That's
it is
excellent.
one specifically brewed to be enjoyed by October 31st of 17.
So we're going to try to have a super special Halloween edition. So
Oh boy.
we'll see how that goes. Quickly, while we've got the moment, I want to say thank you to the 250 plus people who have liked the
wow.
Brews with Dudes page before a single episode came out.
That's impressive. Yeah, I saw you announce that, and hats off, man. I'm happy to be a part of the first 2 episodes. I'm happy to be a part of the Journey into Comics network.
Then me too. I love
all
that.
250 of you should be sharing this page.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Imagine if that happened. No one realizes like even if you don't drink good beer, I bet you've got a friend on your page that
definitely.
likes good beer. So just share it and just say, hey, some friends of mine are trying new, really good beers every week, trying to just taste a little bit of everything. So.
Even if not everybody thinks they're really good.
What's
I've got to give this Ridiculous a solid thumbs up on my half.
I'm glad you like it.
I think that's why I like the idea of having multiple people and we're not trying to stroke anybody's ego. It's like we don't like the beer, then we don't like the beer, and that's why I like explaining the IBUs and explaining the color and saying what it tastes like. We're trying to paint 4 different perspectives of the same beer, so you can decide if you like it yourself. But yeah, I mean, we kind of went into it last week. Like I've done a couple podcasts with Nate and Brando and Dongo, and after just doing it once or twice, I loved it. And then they were all like, "Dude, you should do a podcast of your own. Like just do
definitely.
something." So I'm glad we landed on something like this.
I'm definitely glad this is one more thing on top of the mountain of things that you have your hands in.
Right. Having one time a week that's organized around drinking beer. Usually it's like we're going to get together and listen to bands play, but it's like we always are like, well, we're also just going to drink a bunch of beer while we do that. Like
we're always talking about the beer while we do it.
Yeah. So now we've got a very focused, we got 1 hour that we're focusing hard on just drinking beer and talking about beer. So
if I could add in something else for some of the people that aren't as in tune with the craft beer and stuff.
Beer savvy.
To go back to this Ridiculous, since it's the one we've just most recently palated, the ABV is 9.5%. That's the alcohol by volume, but the IBUs are actually at 90, which is a high IBU.
Yeah.
I can't recall exactly what the IBU stands for, but I can say that the higher International Bitter Unit. Thank you, Nicholas Maxon. The higher the IBU, the more bitter and the heavier it's going to taste, and the quicker you're actually going to feel the alcohol content of that beer catch you. Say you drink just one of these at a 9.5 with the 90 IBU, and you're not someone that does have beers regularly. You're going to drink one of these, and you're going to start to feel it right away. You're going to get that little bit of a head buzz. You're going to feel it kind of like on you. You're going to warm up a little bit more and going to feel a little bubbly, like you've had, say, 2 to 3 normal beers, like a Bud Light or a Miller Lite or something.
Okay. Say, I typically aim for like the 65, around 65 to 80 IBUs for what I like. And
that happens with a lot of like stuff like I've seen you drink Alpha King.
Yeah, I drink
with
a lot.
Stuff like that.
That's my main. That's my go-to.
It's.
If Zombie Dust was more readily available, that would be my go-to, as I'm sure it would be most.
Not I.
Not you.
I do enjoy that.
I enjoy Zombie Dust when I can find it on tap, but that is one that I do not like out of a bottle.
I haven't minded it out of a bottle. Whenever I'm up at Three Floyds, I always try to grab a case. The last visit I went up there, I was up there with Nate Phillips of Journey into Comics and Voice of Survival and all of the other podcasts. One of the big wigs in the network. He went with me to Three Floyds Brewery, and they didn't have it. They were they had Alpha King. I think they had Alpha King, Gumball Head, Arctic Panzerwolf, and Crack the Sky.
Crack the Sky. I've got one of those sitting in the cellar.
Yeah, they did a weekend of it.
I do really enjoy a lot of the offhand brews by Three Floyds. A lot of their specialty brews that they do with bands and the like.
Yeah. I
And-
tried Crack the Sky. I was not a fan. But
Of course you're not.
I'm not a coffee guy.
No.
I hate coffee in general.
I
So-
used to be really displeased and disliked just about all stouts and coffee stouts and the like. But as I've journeyed further into my craft beer,
Your journey into craft beer.
it's I've really enjoyed it so much more.
Wow.
This
First-
smells delicious.
First taste of the brown sugar.
I'm not getting a strong scent.
It's not the scent, dude. It hits you in the mouth hard. Let's let Austin introduce the beer that he brought this week.
This beer I bought is Lagunitas brown sugar ale, sweet release, and on the 6-pack it even says makes you feel so good. Or it says how come you taste so good. The add to it.
Tell
It
me,
is-
girl.
It is a 10% ABV with an IBU of 51.1. So it's got a lower IBU, so it's a lot smoother and lighter, but it's got the higher ABV that gives it a little bit more strength.
Ooh, it's got like a sour back. Like when it hits the back of your throat, it's got a bit of a sour taste to it.
That would be the
See what
sweet
this tastes
release.
like. Dongo going in.
Get off my dick.
Isis, come here. Come here, girl.
I'm definitely getting that sour back.
It says "Give me head till I'm dead" on your T-shirt, Anthony. You asked for that.
And she's shoving her.
You got to take a break from head every now and then.
Nope.
No,
This
you
is,
don't. You go kicking and screaming and ripping your sheets over your face.
NSFW, parental advisory.
Toes curled.
Spoiler alert. R-rated.
But this is very good.
Yeah, I'm down for this. I like the brown sugar.
Definitely better than the last beer.
Yes,
It
That
actually
Dongo
follows up
brought.
the last beer quite well.
it
I think
does.
so too.
It's got a very red hue to it. It's a lot clearer than that Imperial Red, but it's still got that red coloring.
I could
But it
probably
kinda-
drink 3 or 4 of these.
I could have 3 or 4 of these
You know, before I
before you start hitting that PBR.
You know, I just have to say that, like, we're not even two total beers deep, and I'm already buzzed.
Same.
These are really strong beers. I didn't realize how strong this brown sugar was, but we went from
We actually lifted
seven
off properly.
7 to 8 or 9 to 10, and
Yeah,
I think the last one is
let's-
somewhere up in there too. So
this liftoff is 7.2. The Schlafly is
Schlafly.
Schlafly is 8.0. The Redonkulous is 9.5, and of course this brown sugar, there's a with an apostrophe afterwards, so you go is 10.0. So
It was real.
we just kept getting heavier with our alcohol.
What was the brown sugar?
Lagunitas.
The Lagunitas.
Have you ever?
Oh, it's a 10%
10.
ABV.
Yeah.
Man, when was the last time you guys ate? I haven't eaten since 10.
I
There's
ate
cookies
before I
up
came
there.
over here.
Yeah. I had a cookie or two, but yeah, I only ate breakfast. So I'm
school,
definitely feeling
the school
this.
bought,
Yeah.
you know, friend pushing his kids' fundraiser shit in your face cookies.
I
are up there.
appreciate you,
So
Anthony.
naturally you buy them because they're fucking cookies.
Yeah.
you bought some
Pardon the
sausage,
mouth.
didn't you?
I did buy sausage. I couldn't pass up the sausage.
Dude, was it good?
I haven't ate it yet.
Oh,
I'm saving it for a special occasion.
I got some. They're called carnival cookies, but they're M&M cookies. That's what they are. And
Yeah.
we smashed half the box.
Reese's
in one
Pieces
sitting.
cookies.
Ooh.
That would be the shit right there.
The ones on the counter are the strawberry cheesecake.
Those were good.
They're so good.
Oh,
So good.
I haven't had one.
It's too
They
good.
kind of remind me of those.
This is good fucking beer.
Yes.
They
Yes,
kind
it
of
is.
remind me of the cookies from Subway with the cranberries and white chocolate chips in them.
I can't put my finger on the back end of that.
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah.
Right when it's going down your throat, there's this. It's a sour taste. It's an egg. It's a little hit that I'm not sure how to describe.
It is a very smooth sour taste.
It's really good. I like this beer. We should drink another one of these.
You think? We'll have to
Austin's.
jump into the Moloko from Three Floyds, which is our champion beer for the day.
Oh.
But then after that, we should probably definitely jump back into another one of these brown sugars. I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
really
we've.
good. Where'd you buy that at?
This I actually got this at our local Payless.
Yes.
It is under the Lagunitas
And Payless
seasonal
has
section.
a lot of great items.
I have no idea when they have a good guy in their department that is choosing their beer, because Payless has an amazing beer selection.
It was like
They also have
within
pretty good
the
liquor
last
section.
year, they've
Yeah.
actually stepped it up.
And they have a great meat section.
Oh, I love their meat section.
You know? It's
I
like
love the
if
deli
you're buying your meat
and the
at
meat
Walmart,
section.
you're a fucking idiot.
I do buy a lot of meat from there.
Oh, that's
And
I
their salsa?
exclusively buy it from them.
Holy shit!
That
yeah,
salsa didn't
Payless-
last long.
Payless
Yes.
has the
Jax.
best salsa in town, and if you want to fight me about it, just hit me up, because I want your salsa.
And hit
even
'em.
if you're not from Lafayette, if
They're
you
the
think
only
that you've got the
place
best salsa,
that sells Jack's medium, and
dude,
it is
Jax,
fucking
Jax, and in Herdez,
yeah.
however the fuck you pronounce it, whatever it is.
It's so good.
What'd you say, Jax?
Jax.
Jax for the sweet, and Herdez for the spicy.
The spicy.
Oh my god, they're the best salsas. Maybe that's
I
gonna
like
be
a good sweet salsa.
That's going to be like
Ooh.
the second half of Brews with Dudes. We're just going to fucking rate salsas because,
Oh, dude.
God,
Nate
damn,
Phillips
I love
would get on
salsas.
that.
There's a ton of
Good.
He would love
salsas.
that.
We could rate beer food.
Oh,
You remember last Halloween when
We should have a
10 Strip
blind
played?
salsa
Yeah.
tasting.
So we had 10 Strip come and play
Hot
last
sauce
Halloween
taste.
for the Doom Room, and Nick Fought, the lead singer for 10 Strip, makes his own peppers and stuff, and then he goes and makes his own salsa. So he brought some salsa called Hot Fucking Salsa or something like that. And it's so fucking good. I've still got some of it. A couple weeks ago, we had the Convalescents, another heavy metal band, come
Yes.
through and play. And they had their own salsa, so we bought some
Hot
of that.
sauce, and it was so good.
And we just okay. So that's
So
hot
good.
sauce. That's not necessarily salsa.
That was
that's a good
straight
point,
hot sauce.
but
It was a so good.
It was called Murder Mild Sauce.
Nice.
mild sauce.
Mild murder or something.
it was
this
mild
isn't-
murder sauce,
This is not explicit murder. It's just mild. Mild murder.
and it was so delicious. I actually have some homemade mustard that you would probably really enjoy. that my
Gross.
uncle
I like
makes.
spice. I'm a big fan of spice.
Take that shit and stuff it up your ass.
That would tickle in a good way, I bet.
It probably make me feel good.
I absolutely hate mustard. It's known.
yeah. I'm not a fan of mustard.
No. When I was
Dongo
a
lacking
bartender,
on the drink.
there was a guy who would come in and he would drink, he'd get a pitcher of beer and he would take the mustard bottle, pour it into his mouth, and then just wash it down with beer. And I was like, why? One, because I absolutely hate mustard. I think it's the most disgusting thing on the planet. But I don't know. He just said it tasted great. Mustard and beer.
I like mustard, and that's about all I'm gonna say
It's
about it.
okay.
I'm not gonna pour it straight into my fucking mouth.
No.
But
Well, this guy was hammered, so he used to do it all the
I
time.
am more than halfway there.
I'm feeling
I'm
good.
feeling lit.
I have to drive to the other side of West Lafayette after this.
You're in trouble, Dongo.
yes.
So we talked
can
about
see it in your
we
eyes.
talked about Voight, Anthony. He's got Give Me Head Till I'm Dead. Dongo's wearing the Slipknot, and then we've not mentioned my T-shirt, but we have mentioned what's on my T-shirt.
Yes.
I'm wearing the Metal at Market Square shirt. So if you're listening and you like heavy metal, or you just like good music in general, go to the Doom Rooms page, check out Metal at Market Square. We've still got a couple shows coming up that you should absolutely check out. But the reason I brought up the T-shirts is because I wanted to bring up Austin's shirt, who's wearing a Chicago Nomination T-shirt, and while we're making the transition into our final beer, I kind of want you to go on about but you and Anthony. Anthony's been a part of Chicago Nomination Fest for a long time. They recently announced, and by recently I mean today, they mentioned that they're going to Dirty Nelly's to start doing their festival, which is one of my favorite venues in Chicago. I went there a couple years ago for Between the Barrett and Me. So
how was the sound? Because I mean, obviously they had a good sound engineer then, because
it's an awesome venue.
The only complaints that I've heard so far is the sound sucks, and it's like, well, guess what? The sound sucked at Wire the first day that we played until we played.
Yeah,
and I guess the guy figured it out.
I think that
a lot of that was when Kyle told him to take the triggers off. Because, he told him to take the mic off the drums and just do the triggers through the PA.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to do triggers and kicks.
Yeah.
And it was messing up terribly.
Yeah, it was everything was really muddy the first day at Wire, and then the Friday and Saturday they had a different sound engineer, and it sounded phenomenal.
Yeah,
and thank God that, when we played, it wasn't as fast and chaotic as some of the other bands, so it didn't come out muddy.
Yeah, but after Kyle mentioned to have him take the kicks off the mic and just do the triggers through it, and then Ben had him do something else with the guitars. I think he had him. I can't remember what he said, but Ben had him do something that cleaned up the guitars too, and then immediately the drums and guitars were great. And all day, only the bass sounded good, and the guitars were kind of off, and the drums were kind of getting the reverb back at them. But after that, it was great. But that weekend was amazing, though. Aside from the sound from the first day, that weekend was unreal.
That was some of the most fun I've had in the last couple years. Chicago Domination Fest definitely was outrageous fun. Great people from all around the world. People flying in from different continents just to hang out in Chicago and listen to some extreme metal. Maggot Twat was definitely a
highlight of the final day. I was a really big fan of Goratory the night before.
Definitely.
And then same with Guttural Secrete. Those guys are great. Blues, my dude, he was fucking awesome.
I got to hang out with the guys from Limb Splitter, who will be at Carnahan Hall October 28th?
This Saturday.
Yes.
Our listeners,
I think they're going to be staying at my house unless I was going to talk to you about that, Nick. Having a little after party at my house instead of trashing your house for the millionth time.
I like that idea a lot.
We should definitely go to my house afterwards.
Yeah. The Doom Room itself, Nick Maxon's pet project, his claim to fame, actually went to the previous year's CDF and did a DVD, which I was lucky enough to tag along and help with.
That's true. So did Anthony. Anthony shot some of the video.
I shot dildo cam.
You did. You shot some of the best cam. There's some really good video of what I call mosh cam, of you holding a camera in the mosh pit. It was beautiful. But yeah, so Austin's wearing Chicago Domination Fest 4. So the year before, Chicago Domination Fest 3, myself, and the majority of the work was Eventus Wall. He's a fucking genius when it comes to videography.
Eggs, Andy.
So good.
Andy, Eventus Wall.
Andy Eggs.
Eventus Andy Eggs Wall. So he used to do all of our videos for us, and he was on board for that. So he did all this shooting with the help of myself, Anthony, and Austin. But then he's the one that did all the editing. But yeah, we've been doing home video style-esque DVDs for a couple years now. Mm-hmm. That was the first time that because of Anthony had, like we said, has been to these Chicago Nomination Fest for years. He knows the guy who's putting it on. And he mentioned to him, he's like, I've got a friend that does videos and stuff. And Miguel, Gore Grinder Medina, he hits me up and says, let's do DVD. So that was the first, what I would call professional DVD that we've ever done. But yeah, so last year, Chicago Nomination Fest 4, I went just for the fucking hell of it, for the fun, and it was fucking great.
Very fun.
Aside from spilling all my fun stuff in my pocket, it was a really fun weekend.
Don't you hate when that happens?
But
good thing you had friends.
that's true. So I'm stoked as fuck, especially since it's going to Dirty Nelly's. I'm ready for Domination Fest 5. So
I really like the thought of Domination Fest being at Dirty Nelly's.
domination at the Dirty. So we've got our final beer for the night, the champion beer. This is
champion.
This is 3 Floyds. What is it? Makolo, I think. Maloko. There it is. Maloko. That's
Sounds
what it is.
Hawaiian.
It's a milk
Dongo's
stout.
not gonna like it.
This is a.
It's a
I think
stout.
from now on we're just going to
Dongo
say.
will not dig it.
Yeah, we're just going to say that the final beer of the night is always something that Dongo is not going to like. So,
I saw milk
Oh,
stout.
that
so.
smells like a stout.
it smells like a
I
stout. It
remember
smells
You
like
poured
something.
This,
Oh,
you
it's
poured
definitely
this, and
it's
I
rich.
really held it up to the light, and it is just pure black.
I can't even see the light through this beer.
No, you can't.
It is
This-
dark as death.
This.
Unbelievably dark. Dark is my soul. Dark is my asshole. Let's take a drink, shall we?
I'm so
Ridiculously
goth, I'm
smooth for a
almost as
fucking
dark as
stout.
this beer.
That is probably the smoothest stout I've ever drank.
Oh, yes. Last minute introduction. My buddy Jason just walked in. He's the drummer in a couple of really fucking awesome bands, most notably the Mound Builders. But I'll bring up that show one more time that none of you guys are going to be able to relate to or hear about. But we're getting ready to do a big Halloween show, and we've got a band called Mormont coming to play. They play, it's drum and bass, Game of Thrones. Fucking stoner, doomy fucking awesomeness. So, Jason, say hi to everybody real quick.
Hi, everybody, real quick.
You wanna take a sip of my milk stout just to give your quick opinion?
If that's what we're drinking here.
It's
sure.
pretty light for a stout.
Yeah.
It's
I
super
agree.
smooth.
It's really smooth.
You could make a milkshake.
What
with
is
That
this?
is nice.
This would
and
go
smooth.
well. You know, you could make a stout float with this. You could definitely throw a scoop of ice cream in this and
My
get
goodness.
drunk. And
I was thinking milkshake myself.
I've actually got some vanilla ice cream in the freezer, so maybe we just take a quick second and go grab it out of the freezer.
yeah, the hell with root beer. We can go with
We
this.
start doing milk stout milkshakes.
Yeah.
That sounds all right.
Some stout shakes.
What does
never
what does
know till
Dr.
you try.
Dongo think?
It's somebody said, I think it was Anthony. He said it's very light. It's very light stout. I can handle it. But it's not.
I could
it's not
drink a
something I would
couple of
pick.
these. This is
It's
good.
not
This
something
is
I would
good.
pick.
What is this again?
I'm gonna stick with the IPA.
Maloko.
How much is that a bottle?
This is $10, I think.
$10 for a, what is that, a 20?
It's a bomber, so it's about 20 ounces. I'm fucking stupid.
It is. The bomber would be 26 ounces.
I was thinking about grabbing one of those, but then I was like, nah, Liftoff sounds more my style.
I like it. So really, really quick. We don't want to dwell too very hard because we're running over on our time. So we're gonna go around and we're gonna have everybody say their favorite beer, and if you need to, tell us what came in second place. So we'll start with Austin. We had 5 beers tonight. What would you say is your number one favorite that we had?
My number one favorite? Oh, man. I'm going to pass to Anthony. I got to think about that.
I'm going to say
Shithead.
Liftoff was my favorite.
Yeah.
Not just because I brought it, but it was.
Yes, it is.
It was just very smooth, very easy to drink. I'm going to have to say that Brown Sugar was my second in a tie with the Maloko.
Yeah, the Maloko is for being what I'm gonna guess. I don't think it says it's somewhere between the 8 and 10 ABV region. It's super super dark, but it's so easily drinkable.
Yeah, it's
There's
really-
so much coffee and chocolate flavor.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm really really digging it. Okay, Dongo, what do you think?
Liftoff for sure.
For sure?
That's my favorite. It's just what I'm used to, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely
So-
the one that most
Just-
closely fit the category of IPA.
Mild IPA.
I will say my least favorite of the night is the one that I brought.
Yeah, I will.
The Ridiculous.
I'll go ahead and agree real fast.
Yes.
I'll agree.
I'll agree with that.
The Ridiculous was too much. The Imperial Red, it was a little too much for me.
I tried.
I'll say that my favorite. I don't know how often this is going to happen, but I'm going to go ahead and also say Liftoff was probably my favorite because my two favorites are either really juicy or fruity IPAs and then stouts. And I really like the Moloko. We'll give it number 2, but I would say that my favorite of the day was definitely the Liftoff from Daredevil. So, Austin, you piece of shit. You went from being the first choice because I thought you were worth it.
If you're not first, you're last.
And here you
Ricky
are.
Bobby.
So, what's it going to be last?
Big Red Gum. If you don't chew it, then fuck you. Actually, I'm going to have to go with... I'm actually have to say my favorite was the Redonkulous.
Yeah, the red?
I really, really like that. Just because it brought back that nostalgia, just diving in and getting new with beers.
Well, 3-1
And
says
that
you're
really-
wrong.
3-1 can go below me.
Rude.
But
Yeah.
I will say the Moloko and the brown sugar were a solid second, but that Liftoff was really good. I really like that. If I didn't have the nostalgia of the Ridiculous, I would have said Liftoff. But the nostalgia just took me over.
So, we're not going to go on. We've given you guys quite a bit for the night. We're going to finish drinking these beers. We might pop open another one of those. What did we decide that we wanted to open?
Brown sugar.
The brown sugar.
One more brown sugar. So we're probably going to do that while we let you guys
Their favorite was
sit
Liftoff,
there and
but
decide
we're
like,
drinking more
God
brown
damn, I need to
sugar."
go and get some good beer right now and start
Go get some
drinking
good
this
beer.
shit. So
Drink some of that shit.
Thanks again for listening. We forgot to mention it last time, but on top of this podcast, we're going to start doing a blog from Medium. It's called Brews Across Indiana. Myself and my good friend Jessica Wadley are trying to go to every single brewery in Indiana. And we're doing a blog that documents it with pictures and a rating of their beers. So look out for that. Like you've also heard, I'm trying to open a brewery venue. So we've got not a Patreon, but we've got a Kickstarter going on, trying to raise some funds for that. So go to the Maxons and Me Facebook page, check that out. If you've not checked out all the different podcasts going on the Journey into Comics Network, there are 10 different shows right now. There's comics, there's movies, there's food, there's video games, there's wrestling. They've got topics for everything you could possibly imagine. And I'm very glad that we're adding to that plethora of categories. We're adding
glad you guys are here.
Beer.
We're adding beer
I am so
as a
glad.
thing.
Nick, I'm so glad you're adding beer to the plethora.
So-
goddamn.
What else is there?
Nothing.
It's it. And then Dongo does a lot of the metal. He does a lot of the heavy metal stuff.
It's not just
so-
metal. It's not just metal. It's
I know
just,
you do everything, but
it's just conversation.
you do
That's what I
everything.
want.
You do a little bit of whenever I've done podcastrophy, we've
done metal.
we've talked about everything.
I think I
likes
need
to
to
talk
get in on the metal.
Oh, you will.
I will like to get in on the metal.
Thanks again for listening. We're going to come back again if you're paying attention. We've already had a couple people suggest different beers that we should
Awesome.
try. So if you're listening and there's a specific beer that you want us to try, let us know. One last time, this is Nick Maxon with Brews with Dudes, and we'll see you next time.
Yee yee.
Yee yee!